Hey guys, today we're going to talk about using the distance formula and the midpoint formula. So our learning targets are I can calculate the distance between 2 points, I can calculate the midpoint of 2 points, and I can determine which formula is appropriate to use. So first we're going to look at the distance formula. So it is used to find the distance between 2 points, xy and xy. So the formula is there. You can see you take the difference in your x's and square it, and you take your difference in your y's and then square that, and then you take the square root of the whole thing. So that looks suspiciously like the Pythagorean theorem. So if you're given 2 points, the coordinates, you can use the distance formula. If you're given the graph, you can actually use the Pythagorean theorem. So the distance between the 2 points is here, so that's what I'm trying to find. But if I draw the triangle, I can actually so here's my x side down here. My x side has a distance of 3. My y side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has a distance of 5. So remember your Pythagorean theorem, if I'm looking for, actually I'll call this D. I'm looking for D, right? So I could say D squared equals 3 squared plus 5 squared, and then we take the square root of that. So I could say my distance equals, what is that, 9 plus 25, square root of 9 plus 25, which is what, 34, right? Yeah, square root of 34. So that is going to be my distance for that one. If I wanted to, I could name these 2 points. So I could have put negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be negative 5. And I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, 4. And negative 2, negative 3. I'm going to show you how to do that one on the next example. If you have 2 points, you could just plug in the points for x and y, and then just plug those into the formula. But if you have a triangle already, or if you have a line already drawn, you can use the Pythagorean theorem. So if you have just the 2 points, you can label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and plug them into your formula. So your distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then you take the square root of the whole thing. So I'm just plugging those numbers in. So I'm going to do 3 minus negative 4 squared plus negative 1 minus positive 1 squared. And I can put it exactly into my calculator just like I have written it, or I can kind of figure that out. My negative 4 is going to turn into positive. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 squared is 49. And then negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is going to be 4. So 49 plus 4 is 53. So that's going to be the square root of 53. I'm going to check that in my calculator real quick. So I'm going to do the square root of 3 minus negative 4 squared plus negative 1 minus 1 squared, and I hit enter and I get square root of 53. All right, so these are what you call plug and chug. So I'm going to assign x1, y1, x2, y2, put that in your formula, and you can always have that formula given to you. So that is not a formula you will have to memorize. So I'm going to do 11 minus negative 7 squared plus 3 minus negative 2 squared. And I'm going to just stick that in my calculator exactly as it's written. So I'm going to do 11 minus negative 7 squared plus 3 minus negative 2 squared. Hit enter, and I get the square root of 349. Yuck. If I turn that into a decimal, because that really doesn't make any sense to me, that is 18.7. So either one of those would work. The midpoint formula is is a little bit similar, where we just basically plug it into a formula where we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And this time we're going to take the average of the x's and then the average of the y's. So we just assign x1, y1, x2, y2. And it kind of makes sense, right? The midpoint is the middle of the points. So for our x-coordinate, we're going to do 7 plus 9 divided by 2. And then for our y-coordinate, we're going to do -5 plus -1 divided by 2. 7 plus 9 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. -5 plus -1 is -6. So -6 divided by 2 is -3. So that's our midpoint. So we'll try again. x1, y1, x2, y2. And then for our x-coordinate, we have -7 plus 3 divided by 2. And our y-coordinate, we're going to do 4 plus -4 divided by 2. And that's going to give us -4 over 2 is going to give us -2. This one's going to give us 0 over 2, which is just going to be 0. And that's it. Those are your two formulas, and you will be given both of those anytime you need them. So you don't have to memorize them, you just have to use them. If you have any questions, just let me know.